All right, so I had the opportunity recently to interview Chase Casillas. He is a USU alumni, majored in liberal arts. He is a sales manager at Stag Provisions, a bass player in a heavy metal band called Virtue, and is a part-time actor. Here is the interview. All right, so I guess we can just start. And I've heard a little bit about your career. I know you play bass, right? And do some part-time acting, and then you work in sales, right?
Yeah, I'm actually a sales manager and men's stylist for a boutique here in Austin called Stag Provisions. And that's my
Mhm.
main, everything else is kind of on the side. Yeah.
What do you do exactly at Stag?
Stag Provisions.
Yeah.
Um, I'm the sales manager. So I oversee daily sales numbers and training and direction of the staff. I'm also the head stylist. So a lot of times I'll get to work with just really cool people from around town and basically dress them from head to toe. We've gotten
That's really
tops in
cool.
places for men to shop by GQ and Esquire a few times over. So it's a pretty cool gig.
Have you met any famous people through your job or anything like that?
Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff has actually happened through that job, including getting cast in that Matthew McConaughey Salesforce commercial.
Oh yeah,
I was dressing one of the producers, and it just came from that. And recently, I don't know when it's coming out, but I just got back from San Diego. I styled the comedian Bobby Lee for his upcoming Hulu special in November.
that's
So
awesome.
yeah, just a lot of fun things have come out of that and or the music thing.
Can you just give me like a quick overview of your career and just like what you majored in at USU and then how you got to be where you are today, I guess?
Oh my god. My career is insane. It's basically just a lot of me saying yes to where I fit in. My first official gig, I guess you could say, or like big boy job, was at Utah State during my last year. I did the majority of marketing and branding with a classmate named Zach Larson for Blue Square, which I think the university actually owns that now. But it was the apartment complex across from the football stadium.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing. And then in between that, I moved to Texas and got a job at Nordstrom Rack managing the men's and kids section. Then I became a stylist for regular Nordstrom. Then I helped the right guy, and then he made me work for Estee Lauder as a fragrance specialist. And then Stag found me while I was in Houston. And after about a year of back and forth, I finally made the hop over to Austin. So thought I was going to go into tech, but other passions and jobs kind of came to fruition with that, and I just followed it down the rabbit hole. My major was liberal arts, so there was never anything like super consistent, other than the fact I took a lot of English writing, fiction, nonfiction, and a lot of history of the West Coast. Shout out Dr. Culver if he's still there. Everyone should definitely take his classes. And then got to Austin, and music was always a passion. So 2016, some guys found out I played bass and offered me a spot in a very heavy band, and been doing that ever since, and had some really cool parallels off of that alone too. That was the introduction to everything as far as film.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So, what year did you graduate USU?
2012.
Were you like involved in many activities or clubs or like things on campus while you went here?
Brother, I was involved in too many activities and clubs. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Rushmore, but that was me. I had more success in my extracurriculars, probably in my main classes. I was a
Nice.
member of the Sigma Chi fraternity. I was also activities director for, at the time, it was called ASUSU, but I have no idea what the student union acronym is now. Um, So got to throw concerts, got to put on the How, if that's still a thing.
Yeah.
So that was a big one for me. And then out of the English department, I would volunteer a lot with beat slam poetry stuff. There used to be an ongoing series called Beat Slam Uncensored that I was always helping to plan for. Shout out Star Colebrook. If she's still teaching, everyone needs to take a class from her. She's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and then outside of that, just little bitty things. I basically just never said no when I was on campus. Logan, Utah was such a culture shock for me. Kind of like now I got him where I fit in. And coming from Texas to northern Utah, that was a lot different there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So did you grow up in Texas then?
Yeah, grew up in McAllen, Texas, which is if you look at like the little hook end of Texas, that was me right there on the bottom.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so what made you decide that you wanted to go to Utah State?
Um, Originally I wanted to do something with football coming out of high school, but after 2 knee surgeries, I just kind of started looking around at other options.
Oh
And I
yeah.
remember my Aunt Marianne just invited me and my little brother up there for a spring break to go skiing, snowboarding up at Beaver.
Yeah.
And she cleverly scheduled a class tour or a school tour while I was there. And I just really dug the vibe more than anything else. And out of the other schools I was looking at, like San Diego State and other schools like that, I was like, this is probably one I would graduate from because I don't think I'll get as distracted here.
Yeah.
Still, still got plenty distracted, but I graduated.
There you go. So how did your program or the things you did in USU prepare you for the work that you're doing now and you're at Stag?
Well, for work at Stag, that I have to give that to like student union kind of stuff. Because when you're planning those parties, Mardi Gras, how like all these crazy things, it's an element where you can't predict how your day is going to go.
Uh,
And our store is located on a big tourist area. So even though it's a small store, I'll still see over 1,000 people a day. And so that kind of controlled chaos from concert promotion really helped me up my game in retail because I have just a higher tolerance for being around a lot of people and 1,000 things going on at once.
yeah.
Um, so that was a big part of it. As far as like classes, it's really communication that came through more than anything else. Um, like I said, I took a lot of English and a lot of history. So those two things really played into how I talk to people, even just writing emails. That really helped a lot. It'll make you stand out a lot if you can write good in any sort of job, even outside of the writing sphere.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and the other thing that English and all that taught me too also was getting comfortable with personal speaking. I got to do a lot of hosting when I was at Utah State. I think I hosted the Robbins Awards twice, and then a couple of other events. Even did like a comedy show MC sort of thing while I was there for Pete Lee. So I don't know, it was more of like the act of going to college made it better. So I was also poor, so I always had to find different scholarships. I had a My Friend scholarship. I was an RA for a little bit, and it just kind of taught me to be resilient and
Yeah.
how you can problem solve through life within this little ecosystem.
Yeah. That's awesome. So like what advice would you give students coming into like the industry that you work in now, I guess?
Just, I mean, not even for industry specific, because I wouldn't even say I belong to a singular industry.
Yeah.
But the big thing is keep an open mind, Um, and don't limit yourself to what you can and can't do. The one thing that I think I really wanted to carry with me more than anything is I never wanted my career to be the one singular thing I am. I think it's really important to keep chasing the things that you're passionate about,
Hmm.
and that make you really happy. And then you don't really feel like you're missing out, and success kind of takes on a whole new meaning. Um, am I a billionaire? No, but I've smashed into an Academy Award winner for 30 minutes for a commercial, and I'm living in a house. So,
So
it's,
that's all you need.
yeah, it's just stay positive and do what you want to do most of all. Um, I feel like in college, they really kind of ingrain in you that sort of like, you need to do this, you need to work ethic if you want to be successful at this.
Hmm.
Yeah, have some fun with it. We only get to do this whole thing once. Um,
Yeah.
so do what you're passionate about, knock on the doors of the things that really interest you, and cool things will come about. You can't have a
Yeah, I
midlife
like it.
crisis if you're not living a midlife. So,
Yeah. So when did you become your part of your band after you graduated and moved back to Texas then?
yeah, I always had people I played music with in college, but no one
Uh,
had. I mean, it's college. We were all struggling for money, but no one had the ability to, like, hey, let's buy some half stacks in the van and tour.
yeah.
It wasn't until I moved to Austin, and I did move to Austin with a little bit of the intent of playing music. But yeah, in 2016, a customer who I'd helped before came in and handed me a demo and was like, "Hey, do you think you'd be into this?" And I listened to it, and it was incredibly heavy, and I'd never played anything like that. So
Oh
I was
yeah.
like, oh, okie dokie. I'd always been kind of like interested in it, but I grew up like very much enjoying like pop rock and punk more than anything.
Yeah.
So going off on a whole adventure into the world of like hardcore was kind of different, but it's been awesome. Made a lot of friends and a lot of really cool connections.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Mhm.
When did you start playing, like have you played the bass like your whole life pretty much then?
I started when I was 15. My whole family are musicians. My little brother is a percussion teacher. My
Oh,
father
cool.
was a high school band teacher, and my mother was a middle school band teacher. I initially learned how to play Barry sax, but I hated being in band, especially when your parents are in on it, because then it's like there's no excuse. You better be good.
Yeah.
But I really liked bass leaning instruments, so picked up a bass guitar and really took to it. Strangely enough, I didn't think I was gonna like be doing it like 20 years later.
Yeah. So you just joined because he showed you that demo tape and then you just went with it.
Joined. I mean, the vibe was right, and the big thing that they were talking about was like actually like touring. In high school, I had little bands and stuff like that, but it would never go anywhere. And the second show I played with them, we were already in Dallas. Um, so it was definitely different approaching it from like, oh, we're adults with income, like, oh, we can kind of do this now.
Yeah.
And yeah, then it just opened it up to like touring. We mainly done like the Midwest a bunch of times, but I've gotten to play with artists that I listen to. I opened for Comeback Kid when they were here, and I remember my mom buying me that CD at a Hot Topic when I was
Awesome.
in eighth grade. Like,
Yeah, that's really sick.
um, so it was just one of those things where like it was a bucket list item that I always had intentions on going back to. I just didn't expect it to be in the way that it did.
Yeah. What was your band name again?
Virtue.
Like how is playing shows in Texas because the state is so big, right? Do you have to travel like a lot to get to the different shows and stuff like that?
Well, that's the hard part about touring in general. Is like Texas is pretty much like this, at least in our scene, like this like self-contained like little thing. A lot of bands will come to Texas just to tour Texas and dip,
Wait.
which I always thought is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Um, the thing is, we've kind of got it down to a science where we most of the time will head east rather than west.
Um,
Because if you bounced around the west, you know how much driving there is in between everything.
yeah.
Whereas when we went out to the Midwest and the East, there were some drives where we were like, oh, 3 hours, we're here, cool. And it makes it a lot easier to route and get a lot more dates done
Yeah.
for us when we head out that way. Um, yeah, and we also evolved while we were touring because obviously you start to manage money a little bit better. You
Mhm.
start off sleeping in a van, and eventually, you start making friends with other bands and start getting big Airbnbs and just have a
Yeah.
lot more fun with it as time goes on.
What's your favorite show that you've played with your band?
That's a hard one. There's a couple, but probably it would be the first one coming out of pandemic.
Yeah.
Um, it was insane. We played at this place called Barbarella's in Austin. It's a pretty well-established venue, and they put us outside. And through pandemic, a lot had happened. A lot of promoters got canceled, and a lot of venues went missing because it was mostly DIY.
Yeah.
Um, and when we went there, I mean, it was just packed. I think it's like the most people I've just seen all the way back. I don't know how many people out there, but it was a lot. And it was good to play with the guys again because I hadn't really seen them that much over the pandemic. And
Um,
the cherry on top, and I don't know, it was kind of when we realized that we had a reputation that went a little bit further than most bands. Whenever we played DIY shows, people would take trash cans and lob them around. And at this show in 2021, someone brought the very trash can from the old venue and started lobbing it around.
that's awesome.
It was pretty cool.
What are your biggest inspirations as a band and also just as a bass player?
Those are going to be like two very different things.
Yeah.
Because as a bass player, I was heavily influenced by 80s pop. Um, I love bands like Baltimoria, Toto, and then a lot of glam rock hair metal bands, and synthwave. I love synthwave. And the band really, and the way I like to describe it for everyone is it's big Texas riffs. So basically Pantera without the racism. Um, and
Nice.
just heavy vocals, kind of like early 2012 Face Down Records kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I would say if we're looking for like band names that really influenced us, it would probably be Marauder, early music from Burials, and Metallica, and a lot of other really riffy sort of things that influence it, and hip hop to a
Nice.
degree.
What hobbies, passions, or projects like fill your time outside of work?
Oh yeah, I mean, the music thing's always kind of there to where it's what I do and not so much a passion anymore. Like I don't know what I would do if I didn't feel it. But like
Yeah.
hobbies, um, so moving out here, I have chickens now. I've had chickens for the last year. I love taking care of them. I love like getting eggs out of the coop and being kind of like a suburban farmer.
Oh, no.
Um, that's been fun. Really a massive, massive nerd. So I read a lot of comic books.
Cool.
Everyone should read the new DC Absolute Universe. It's Chef's Kiss. Um, and building models and playing video games. So just big nerd energy, basically.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's your current video game?
Current video game. Uh, it's a little embarrassing, but I hopped back into Destiny 2 just to see what's going on with that. And
Hey, I did the
unfortunately,
same thing.
yeah, I was like, the game mechanics have me. So some of the like PvE, PvP stuff. I'm like, yeah, this feels familiar and fun. So I've been doing that. And aside from that, I've beat Cyberpunk 5 times now, and I keep finding
Oh,
new things
nice.
in it. So even
Cool.
though I do like 100% completion each run through, there's so many Easter eggs that I'm just like, what in the world? What?
How would you describe like who you are today compared to when you were a student, like how you've grown, I guess?
I'm definitely more disciplined about my work. That is for sure. Um, I think the big things came like internally. I was really, really, really hard on myself in college. Uh, Sometimes, I feel I'm a very competitive person and I misread a lot of things, especially, you know, being ADHD and a little on spectrum. It was just kind of weird to navigate the chaos that can be college, and at the
Hmm.
time not being very friendly to myself. And older I got, I think it was more of like my fellow classmates from Utah State that I would talk to that would talk about these fond memories that they would have with me. And I realized I was like such an angry person to myself
Uh-huh.
that I didn't even think of how other people perceived me and all these good things that they had to say about me. I had a friend recently, she was having a bachelorette party out in Austin, and she invited
Hmm.
me to one night out on that, which was pretty crazy. But just hearing some of the stories, I was like, wow, I hold that time in my life as kind of negative because of the inner, filter. But realizing that, oh, I should be, easier on myself as I grew up was a big thing. Because there's so
Nice.
many, you know, in college, there's a lot that can handle you down. There's deadlines, there's taking tests for fraternities, there's athletics, there's all sorts of things. So it's just learning how to trust yourself and like yourself a lot more too, at least
Yeah,
for me. So,
I like that. Um, Kind of related, but how do you think your USU experience shaped the way that you like parent or mentor young people or like your kids?
well, I'm not a parent, I am an uncle.
Uncle.
But that being said, I do have people below me. I just, the one thing I'm going to teach you how to do things right. But the one thing I want to instill in everyone, even my staff, it's not serious. Like,
Hmm.
we sell clothes, it's just a day, and you exist. At the end of the day, it's the people that happened. So I want to give, my nephew and people I work with the tools for success, but I also want to give them a lot of autonomy at the same time to explore.
Yeah.
I don't think I had a lot of that growing up because, the boomer generation was very much got to do it like this, got to do it like that. Um, so when you realize how abstract it can be, and then when you unrestrain yourself, you find all these other talents. And that's really what I would want to foster from a younger generation, is lean into your beliefs, stand up for them, and at the same time cultivate yourself, find out what you like. Doesn't have to be a cookie cutter kind of thing,
Yeah.
even though so much of the American experience is framed as such. I don't think that should be a thing, but
Hmm.
do your best and harbor your passions and chase those.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so when you're on campus, I guess what was your favorite campus tradition or just event that you attended or helped with?
Ultimate Aggie, I did that every night. No, I'm
Oh
just kidding.
yeah.
Um, I mean, there was a bunch that I really had fun with. The how was always a blast. I really had a lot of fun every True Aggie night. That was always a great place to meet people. Um, And if I'm being honest, it's the mischief that probably made college the most fun. I don't know if I
Uh-huh.
still have a picture of it anywhere, um, but I guess one of my favorite places to end up on was the police blotter in the Herald Journal. Um, Myself, and I'm gonna go ahead and tell on him right now. One of my favorite memories was myself, Joe Watson, who became a brilliant scientist, and Ryan Bayless, who started. Oh, he's gonna kill me for Drift, the little car fragrance thing.
Uh-huh.
He's this. He's the CEO who came up with that. But we were in student government. They took us on a tour of the ag building, and I remember just we were in the roof area and we saw a ladder that went up onto the roof, and we were like, let's go in there. We went in there, took a selfie. If you want it, I can try and find it and send it to you from the top of that building. We took an elevator down and accidentally went to the basement, but we found a door that went up around the side and we left through that. And as we were leaving, police were coming in and our tour group was right there, and we just rejoined them and kept walking. And they had no idea we had gone.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it was things like that, just like the little like opportunities for fun. That
Yeah.
was it's it's a campus. It's basically a small city in itself to explore, and there's a lot of parts to it that you won't see. And we used to have a bathroom map for the most secluded places to go on campus too.
Nice.
Yeah, it helped.
So I heard that you participated in Mr. USU, is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, I did.
So what was your act?
Bass.
Nice.
I played a medley of Bon Jovi songs. So I played uh, "Living on a Prayer" and "You Give Love a Bad Name," and it was a medley between those two songs. That was my talent for that.
What was your favorite kind of acting role that you did? Was it the Dominoes one?
No, my favorite one has not come out yet. And
Oh,
it was
okay.
kind of like the bucket list one,
Uh-huh.
but I got to play a mid-level villain in an action movie. I just got a
Oh,
text
that's
from
awesome.
someone. Yeah, I got a text from someone that was just like, "Hey, what's your combat experience?" And I just wrote a year of boxing. And my buddy was like, "Show up to this. We need a villain." Um, so we went and shot in a warehouse. It was about 30 of probably like all the stuntmen in Austin, and they told them I
Uh-huh.
was one too. So I was like, "Oh God, I guess I am a stuntman now." Um, but it was really fun. It was a whole choreographed thing with me and this dude that was about the size of my thigh. That was a martial arts monster, and I was just throwing him over my shoulder and stuff, fighting this protagonist, keeping him from this historical artifact.
That's awesome.
Um, hasn't come out yet, but like all my Power Ranger fantasies were met in that one moment.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool.
So that one's a secret, but we'll find out someday.
Secret to find out. It's a feature film. I don't know how they're going to release it. But the production name, company name is called Dollars and Donuts on YouTube, and they have a bunch of like short films on there. And yeah, it's gonna be fun. I mean, they rigged me up with the whole blood rig. I was gushing blood like crazy, so it was
That's
pretty
awesome.
cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, kind of what I've always wanted to do with acting is be a character actor, someone John Wick would kill, like
That would be awesome. All right, well, thank you for being here with me today.
of course, man.
It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well, man.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Of course. You have a good one, brother.